Hi guys, Finn here, welcome back to the channel. Once again, another apology that I haven't been posting up much. I'll give you an update on that. As you guys may know, you've been with the channel some time, I had a catastrophic failure with my camera system which fell over at the range and cracked the lens and also totally buggered it, so I haven't been able to really do much. The good news is I've been investing quite heavily in the channel. I've now got a new laptop winging its way to me. I've invested in my camera equipment, and it's all to make the channel a lot better for you guys to, one, hear me, and two, for me to like visualise what I'm kind of seeing when I'm out on the ground and stuff. I've invested in a scope cam as well, but when I say scope cam, it isn't through the scope view. It's a camera mounted on top of the scope, but you'll see that more in the coming sort of weeks. I've got to say a big thank you to John Drake, who's a channel subby and also a very good friend of mine. He's kindly allowed me to shoot on his farm. To say it's a target-rich environment with rabbits is an underestimate. He has got an absolute rabbit explosion on there at the moment, so there'll be plenty of, hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, there'll be plenty of bunny hunt and action in future videos. But purpose of this video, what is it all about, the nuts and bolts of it all? And I'm sure it applies to lots of other airgun channels. The one question I bet you they get asked more than anything else is, what is the best air rifle? And it's such a ambiguous question, and I often find myself saying, well, best air rifle for what? Best looking, best shooting, best for what application? So I want to put something to bed here, and it's not going to be kind of brand naming for a change. Now, I'm mainly a Springer guy, and I'll tell you how highly I think of my Springers over PCPs. I've got this FX DRS here, and I took it out to John's farm the other night with an all singing, all dancing DNT thermal hydroscope on it. More on that later, or in future videos. They've kindly sent this scope out for me to test, and I will be doing so, and I'll also be doing the range footage yet again with the DRS. I'll give you a spoiler alert now with the range footage with the DRS. It's going to be very, very boring. If you like seeing pellets go through the same holes at ranges from 5 metres up to 50, that is what the DRS is capable of, and that's how it shoots. But if you guys have asked for it, so I'll kindly obliged. It's an extremely accurate rifle, that's all I can say. Right, the other night at John's farm, I took the DRS and the Hydra out to do some bunny bashing, but also in the car I had my HW77K. This is running 11.8 foot-pounds with 8.44 grain JSB exact Diablos with the 4.53 head sizes. Superbly accurate. And what can I say, I took it round the farm and I rolled over a few bunnies, a squirrel, a carrion crow and a wood pigeon. I think my total tally was 9 rabbits, 1 squirrel and the carrion crow and wood pigeon. So what would that be? 10, 12 shots. I took 13 shots that night, and I got 12. And I believe the shot I missed was only because, like, the wind was blowing across it. It's quite hilly where I was shooting, and I misjudged the wind slightly, and I thwacked into some thistles, and Bunny escaped and lived for another day. So, with this little rifle, they were all taken freestanding shots. They were all head shots. They were taken between the ranges of 22 yards as closest, and 22 metres and out to 42 metres. All taken freestanding. Slightly dishonest to me to say that, because one of the shots was taken kneeling, and the other, the long range shot, it was right out in the middle of the field, and I leopard crawled as close as I could get to it, and it looked very spooky, so I was quite comfortable shooting prone, so I rolled him over with a headshot, so all good. I have used this HW77 extensively. I know the hold points on it, and I'm quite confident. It doesn't mean everyone is though, guys. Listen to me on there. Not just because one shooter can do something doesn't mean we all can. So for hunting application, guys, always shoot within your capabilities, please. The closer you get to the target, the more sure you are of a clean dispatch, and that's the ethical way of a sportsman, and that's the be all and end of it all. I'm not going to go on too much about that. Right, so what is the best Springer? And this is what I'm going to entitle my video. What's the best Springer? Right, I'm not going to go into brand names. I'm going to be as generalised as possible, but I'll tell you, I will give you my personal opinion on what you must be looking for, and we'll go for different applications as well, be it hunting or target work. Right, first and foremost, it doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're plinking, whether you're target shooting, or if you're hunting. The most important characteristic that your rifle must have is accuracy. Everything else is secondary to accuracy. If you've got a rifle shooting a 100-foot pound and you can't hit the barn door with it, what is the point? All the power in the world doesn't make up for poor accuracy. And like I say, guys, even if you're shooting tin cans in the garden, nothing's going to become more frustrating if you get a brand of rifle what's not the most accurate rifle out there, and you're constantly missing. For hunting, it is absolutely imperative. It is extremely accurate. At the end of the day, when we're hunting, ethics again, guys, it's our responsibility to ensure clean kills, and the only way to do that is to make sure that we can hit the off switch every time, all the time. Yes, we are going to miss. Yes, you are going to get a wounding shot. It happens, but it's our responsibility to keep that to the absolute minimum. There's no excuse for it. Right, so accuracy. Right, next one, power level. Now I'm going to shelve the power, because I'm going to tell you what I look for first of all. Obviously, actually no, I will go back to power. Sorry about this, guys. If you're hunting, you've got to have a certain level of power, but then you've got to look at the application you're using it in. Us in the UK, unless we're firearms certificate holders, are limited to 12 foot-pounds. It is more than enough for shooting our legal quarry at sensible distances. But do you always need 12 foot-pounds? hell no, 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 no. If you're shooting rats in your chicken run in your garden at under 10 metres, do you need 12-foot pans? Hell no, no. Likewise, if you're an accomplished shooter and you're stretching the legs on your rifle and say taking 40-yard shots, provided you can hit under those magic 1-inch groups, yes, then you do need it to be running over 10-foot pans, I would suggest. Anything over 10-foot pans is going to have plenty enough energy to roll over a bunny, and certainly it will roll over wood pigeon and our usual quarries and squirrels, rats, etc. Right, what I look for then, so we've gone on accuracy. So key to accuracy for me is it consistent? If you get an inconsistent rifle what's shooting up and down the feet per seconds, and it's what you'll find is it's inconsistent. Your groups, you will get a vertical spread on them because different velocities will raise or lower your point of impact each time. So it makes things so much more difficult. So consistency, that is an absolute key to good accuracy. Reliability. Is the rifle reliable? Is it going to rattle loose after every 10 shots, so you have to then go along and tighten up stock screws, etc, etc. What other one? Does it have a good trigger? For me, a decent trigger is absolutely paramount to good accuracy. It wouldn't matter how consistent your rifle shoots, i.e. its power levels and so on and so forth. If you've got, I'm sorry for swearing on this guys, but if you've got a shitty gritty trigger, you're never going to accomplish much with that rifle, no matter how much you practice. For me, the trigger is where the accuracy starts. You want a nice, clean, predictable trigger. You want it crisp. You want to be able to let off predictably time and time again. You don't want to be having a creepy trigger where it's crunchy and grunchy and you never know when the rifle's going to discharge, because if you're concentrating on the trigger, invariably you're going to start aspiring on your rifle. But even if you're bench resting or whatever, it's going to start pulling your shots off. So a good trigger. Is it well made? I mean, looks, to be fair, are fairly secondary, but I've got a theory on that. If you get a really good looking rifle, the chances are you're going to look after it, you're going to keep it well maintained, you're going to take pride of ownership of that, so, and you'll find, how can I put it, you'll shoot so much better with it, because you'll want your shooting skill kind of to match the looks of the rifle. I know it sounds daft, but trust me guys, if you get a rusty bag of bolts and a plank attached to it kind of thing for the stock, you're going to treat it roughly and you'll never shoot it well. Next, is it ergonomic? Does your rifle fit you? Now, not every rifle is going to fit every shooter. If you're small stature or not particularly strong, or you're a lady shooter, if you want a springer for shooting, hunting rather, probably the 77K is not going to be the gun for you to carry around all day, because by the time you find Flopsy, Mopsy and Cottontail, you're going to be fatigued. Shooting fatigue will affect your, or shooter fatigue should I say, will affect your accuracy, so you want to make sure the rifle is manageable for you. So I'd always suggest rather than naming a particular brand or anything, go into the gun shop. When you purchase a rifle, try, if at all possible, I know it's difficult for some guys, try not to purchase online. Go into a gun shop. Most of them will allow you, at least allow you to fire a couple of shots. They'll have somewhere where you can put, even at very close range, you can put some pellets down range, and you can get a feel for the firing cycle of the rifle. Is it going to be too heavy for you to manage? Always think of what you want this for. If you're just sitting on a range bench resting, weight isn't such an issue. But if you're going out in the field, trust me guys, it will make a huge difference down your bag at the end of the day. So yeah, when you're in the gun shop, get a feel for the trigger as well. Yes, most triggers are adjustable, so you can play around, get them to suit. But trust me guys, as for you guys who have watched the channel for a while, you've realised I've reviewed quite a few rifles, and what it says on the box doesn't always match up to what comes out of the box, should we say. I've tested some rifles which allegedly have got adjustable triggers and so on and so forth, and they've been absolutely bags of crap. They really have. Quite shocking. So, in summary, pick a rifle what has the power levels to suit your kind of shooting. Accuracy is the most paramount. Get one with a good trigger, get one with a good fit and finish, get a reliable rifle. It's up to you then to make your own decision. Personally myself, I always endorse, and no way am I sponsored by them, I always endorse HW rifles because I think Valral are very good value for money, and they tick all the right boxes for me, and there's always a model for you to choose from to suit your style shooting. That's not to say Valral are not without faults. They do occasionally, you'll get a lemon. Henceforth, as you can see, the HW57 there, it's still here guys, and I am going to persevere with it. But there are other makes out there. But if my advice is try to get a well-made rifle. Avoid anything with plastic breech blocks. I'd tend to avoid anything with plastic triggers, but then it's up to you guys. And just to finish off this little video, I will say a few days ago I was asked this question, and it'll put things in perspective, and it was, what is the best Valral out there? And I said without hesitation, the Air Arms TX Hunter Carbine. And I know it sounds flippant and silly thing to say, but if money's no object and I had to pick just maybe one rifle to sit on a desert island with, I'd pick a Hunter Carbine over the German ones. But take it as is, because for me the Hunter Carbine ticks every box and I gel really well with that rifle. But that's not knocking our German friends here. So I hope you find this little video interesting guys. Trust me, we've got loads coming. I'm so excited because hopefully the videos will be of a lot better quality, and thank God I can get out of sitting here doing these videos. I can actually get out, do more range work and more field work, because I've been going stir crazy doing these type of videos. This is not what it's about for me. I much prefer being either on the range or in the field, and going forward that's what you'll see a lot more of. So with that guys, cheers, thanks once again for your continued support. It means so much to me. Any questions? By the way guys, there's no such thing as a silly question. Any questions whatsoever, ask away. Only thing I would say is please don't ask on prices on things, because as soon as I mention that, good old YouTube demonetise my videos, and it just don't ask prices. I'll give you the model of the gun, and then you can do a little bit of online research and then find out how much they cost, so on and so forth like that. So with that, guys, sign off on this, and happy bank holiday weekend. Have a good one, fellas.